If anything, I show up louder and more because I think it's more important that people in my community know that we won't be silenced and that I am going to lead by example.
From the ACLU of Arizona, this is Read the Room. I'm your host, Alex Gonzalez.
And Angel Medina.
So the following episode contains themes of self-expression, artistry, performance, and constitutional law. You might hear some certain lawmakers at the legislature call for listener discretion, but we believe in the freedom of expression and the right to access information without censorship.
And given our podcast name is Read the Room, and reading and shade are a part of ballroom and drag culture, it only seems fitting that we dive into all things drag, the First Amendment, and the lines some are attempting to draw to reshape how Arizonans interact with the art form.
Before we get going and introduce our fabulous guest for today's episode, let's make sure we're all on the same page. At its core, drag performance, or drag art rather, is where people of any gender expression get to dress up in often bold, theatrical, and glamorous ways as they step into a whole new persona.
A lot of queens identify as male outside of drag, but when they perform, they may embody a hyperfeminine self. And it can work the other way as well. Drag kings are typically female performers who channel a more masculine energy on stage.
But there are also plenty of performers who use drag to explore and celebrate the full spectrum of gender, stepping outside the lines of the masculine and feminine binary and making the art form entirely their own.
And while drag is a fun and expressive art form, it is also a lifeline for many who cultivate a sense of belonging and community with others who share a passion for drag. Over the years, drag performance has become more mainstream thanks in part to things like drag brunches and drag reality competitions like RuPaul's Drag Race.
And while it's catapulted the artistry to become more mainstream, it hasn't come without pushback. For a number of years now, state legislatures across the country have been eyeing bills that restrict or outright ban drag performances, particularly when children are present. Arizona has been no exception.
Multiple bills have surfaced in recent legislative sessions, each taking a slightly different angle, reclassifying drag as adult content, limiting where performances can take place, or imposing penalties on venues that allow minors through the door. But this type of legislation rests on hypotheticals and fear-mongering rather than actual documented harm. Like many issues impacting the LGBTQ+ community, drag has been pulled into the volatile culture war currently taking place. This is Read the Room.
We're joined by Phoenix native Ben Whitneybell, known across Arizona's drag community as Benaddiction. This high-energy queen sits down with us to discuss all things drag. Whether Benaddiction is serving hair, face, and body at a show or mentoring the next generation of Arizona performers, she brings undeniable passion to everything she does.
Benaddiction, welcome to Read the Room.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Well, first of all, how would you like to be addressed by Benaddiction or Ben?
I'm good with either. I specifically named myself Benaddiction so I wouldn't have to create a completely new name. The idea behind that is that I was a part of my community for such a long time before I ever started drag. I didn't start drag until I was maybe 26 years old, and I had built a name for myself in the community as Ben. And I'm like, I don't want to throw that away by, being called, I don't know, Tracy tomorrow,
Yeah.
No shade, Tracy. But yeah, so I wanted to use the community that I already created as Ben and kind of build my drag persona with that. So either is fine with me.
Tell us a little bit about who you are as a person, where you're from, and kind of how that introduction to drag took place.
Well, I was born and raised here in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm an ASU Sun Devil. I graduated from Arcadia High School, then went to ASU Tempe. I got degrees in psychology and communication with an emphasis in performance studies. And then continued on and, worked just random jobs for a long time, but performance was always my greatest passion for my entire life. I grew up as a theater kid, doing Valley Youth Theater workshops in the summer, and I was big into dance, and that really was my whole life for a long time. I would spend my summers in dance camps, and then after school I was in dance. I was changing schools between 3rd and 4th grade, and a girl in my dance class over the summer who was attending the school I was about to transfer into told me that I would be just mercilessly ridiculed for being in dance at my new school. And so that year I stopped dancing altogether. And like, that's something that I've always regretted, is really letting that passion go, because I was scared of being, bullied and ridiculed at this new school. And so, I mean, I never really stopped dancing, but I stopped taking classes, stopped training, and I tried to hide that part of myself. And that kind of has informed my experience in drag later in life, because finding drag has allowed me to take those things that I learned to hide and learn to dislike about myself, which was, the effeminate part of me, those things that, caused kids to, call me the F slur and call me really uncreative names like Ben Whitneybell. Wow. Get it together. But take those things and to reclaim them, and to not only just celebrate them about myself and like embrace those parts of me, but also be celebrated by my community. I have lots to say about that, but I started drag when I was right around 26, 27. I was living in San Francisco at the time, and I just kind of fell in love with the scene there because it was so weird and different, and like things like nothing I'd ever seen before. I saw things like bearded queens and alternative drag and like spooky different drag that I hadn't really seen in the scene in Phoenix before. So I started going to shows, and I found a drag queen that I really liked, started going to her shows. Then I started carrying her bags for her and picking up her dollar bills. And then one year I asked her to put me in drag for my birthday, and then she became my drag mother, and I just kept going because it's addictive. That's awesome. That's awesome.
So what has been your experience with drag? Like, has it changed over the years? What has that looked like for you?
It has changed so much. So part of the name Beneddiction is that I wanted a name that wasn't gendered, because I didn't know what kind of drag I wanted to do. I was seeing all this really cool kind of like gender fuck drag. I don't know, can I say that?
Yeah.
Drag that was, one specific gender or expression or another, like, everything in between. And I was really vibing with like the club kid scene. And so that's kind of how I saw my drag going when I started. And now I'm like this full-fledged pageant queen, like I could not have expected it to go that direction. But I think that comes from really exploring me. And like I was telling you earlier, like those effeminate parts of myself that I had put away, like my drag is a way for me to embrace those things. And what that looks like in my performance is hyper feminine. And as it turns out, very girly.
And we love it. Yeah. I love going to your shows. Now that you're more established and like what your drag embodies and like what you want to present, you mentioned pageants. Mm-hmm. Can you talk more about that?
Oh, I could talk about that for always. Pageantry is, I think, a very important part of drag history and culture. Dating back to the ballroom scene that you had mentioned earlier in New York City, there have always been a kind of a competitive nature to what we do. And I think that's just like very human, and I love that. I compete within the Miss Gay America system of pageantry, which is the oldest pageantry systems in the country. Yeah. I think founded in 1972, which is many years ago. I'm trying to do the math, but I think that we're like 50.
Yeah, 50 something.
We're not
good at math, yeah.
Several decades.
Several decades. Not centuries, decades.
But decades. Yeah. It has been, known to be one of the most prestigious, and some of the greatest drag performers really have competed within the system. So I started with that system in 2020. It goes from a city level to state level. There's also regional, and then leads up to the big national pageant, which happens every year, for which I have competed in the last 3. I am currently getting ready to compete for the state title, Miss Gay Arizona America. And when I win that title,
yes,
I'm going to it will qualify me to go back to nationals for the 4th year. And this year I feel very, very strong about my position going into that. And I'm ready to win that national crown.
We believe it. We're manifesting.
Yes.
Hello. Pageantry is one aspect of drag. Another aspect we hear a lot about is drag families. Can you tell us a little bit about your drag family?
Yes. So I am the matriarch, I suppose, which is, still kind of funny, but of the House of Addiction. So I've got 5 drag kids, and then my drag kids have kids, and those kids have kids, which makes me a great grandmother. And I said, you guys don't gotta do all that. You guys don't gotta call me that. Do not address me as great grandma in public. But drag families have, again, a rich history that dates back to ballroom scene, when there were people, that were dismissed by their own families, kicked out of their houses for being gay, for being trans, for being different, and it was kind of needed to adopt new families, to like look out for the young people the way that you wish that you had, or, and so that has continued today as in different forms, and not exactly for the same reasons, but sometimes for the same reasons. My family, I am extremely proud of, and I, take the opportunity to both mentor my drag kids and grand and great grandkids as much as I can, both about their drag careers and like try and help them achieve their goals within the drag scene, but also to just be a support for them in their lives. It goes beyond just what we do at the shows, you know. It's important for me that they know that I'm there for them all the time, and that I'm able to be there as a resource. And that's kind of my idea of what it means to be a drag parent.
Yeah. I know that you and I have talked about really the importance of just like community and belonging. And it seems like as kind of this matriarch, right, you have that responsibility within your family. If you were to take that and look outwards, right, to what's happening within the political environment and these attacks on drag performances, I mean, how do you navigate that? How do you communicate to your family? Like, these are things that are actually happening. How do you protect yourself from that?
That's a great question. So it's hard to miss. So it's not something that I feel that I need to remind them of, because we all know about it. You know, we're all hearing about it. What I remind them of is that, hey, you guys, give yourself some grace, because what's going on out there and in terms of the political arena, that's, whether or not you recognize it, that sits in your psyche like throughout the day. And so I try to remind them and myself, that that's heavy and that's scary, and to give yourself a little bit of grace, because we're not just dealing with all of the things that come at us every day with work and school and, our families and everything. We also have this other thing kind of looming above us all the time as LGBTQ people. And that's heavy. Like, that deserves some, attention and processing and recognition, because it's difficult to deal with, And I think it's worth talking to a therapist about, talking to your friends about, and just like not pretending that it's not happening, because that doesn't get us anywhere.
Yeah. I think you bring up a good point. Checking in with yourself. I mean, you're human at the end of the day as well. And like we've said before, like you don't have all the answers, despite the platform and the visibility that you have here within the Phoenix scene and really within Arizona. I think it's important that you have that sort of reflection as well.
Given the current political climate and how the queer community views drag, do you feel like you've also become an advocate for the LGBTQ plus community in Arizona, in addition to being a performer? And if so, like, what has that looked like for you?
Yes, absolutely, 100%. So I came from San Francisco, and my drag mom is a spooky queen. She's, what was considered back in the day an alt queen. And I guess that's still like a term that people use, which is, I think, kind of weird, because drag comes in so many different forms. It's like alternative to what? But when I got here, that was the scene that I found and, was refinding and trying to kind of establish here in Phoenix. So I have, since the beginning of my drag career, been kind of an activist for bringing diversity to the scene. I really have always felt like that was important. And That includes making sure that there are different types of people that often get less bookings, like people of color and AFAB performers, which, historically the scene is been run by cis males, white cis males.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like every scene, always. So I think it's important. It's always been important to me to make sure that I was doing my part and not playing into that system. The activism kind of started immediately when I was producing shows, and then it has grown from there because I care about my community and I love my community a lot, and I just think it's important to be educated about what's going on and to speak on it. And I'm not afraid to do so at my shows.
Speaking of advocacy work, you also do some work around sexual health for LGBTQ plus Arizonans. What does that look like, and why is it important from a bodily autonomy standpoint?
So I work with a nonprofit organization called Ripple Phoenix here. What they do is HIV resources, treatment, prevention work in the community. So I go out monthly, and we have done a number of things. We first started giving out at-home HIV tests. But the organization as a whole helps people get connected with PrEP services. It does testing, and then, depending on the outcome of the test, will help set you up with treatment. We now have the medicine and the technology and the information that we can reduce the number of new HIV infections so much if we are willing to do the work, if we're willing to get connected to these services that are available, these resources that are out there. Stigma doesn't need to exist anymore. It's not a death sentence. People are living with HIV, and in fact, undetectable people are the least likely to transmit HIV than any other group.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. People should know about this. Why don't we know?
Exactly.
I found it interesting. You were talking about how you had moved to San Francisco. Girl, you made it out. Why'd you come back?
What brought you back?
Yeah, what was the rationale behind that?
Okay. Yes.
Because to be fair, I've done it too. So I think you haven't, not yet.
Girl, no.
Okay.
Why?
Go Arizona. Love it here. Grand Canyon State.
Okay, so I was in San Francisco, and I absolutely love that city so much. It is so expensive to live in, but that's not really the reason why I left. The reason that I left is because I was making so many unhealthy choices that it was taking a toll on my mental and physical health. And I felt like coming home would help me to recenter myself and make some better choices, which it ultimately did not. I was just spending too much of my time and energy and money on partying and drugs and alcohol. And I came back to Phoenix, and I kind of continued doing that for a while. But in about, what day is it today? 6/4.
Yes,
Fourth.
4th.
Yep, the 4th.
So in 2 weeks, I will have 5 years of sobriety. And that's something that I'm extremely proud of, because I know that I would not be sitting here in this chair with you today. I would not have the career that I have. I would not have this family. I would not have really anything that I have today if I had not made that choice to leave those things behind that were no longer serving me.
Thank you for sharing that. I think in this conversation, we're talking about community and having a space that's safe for queer identities. And I feel like there are things that we don't talk about as a queer community. So thank you so much for sharing that. And congratulations on 5 years.
Thank you. I'm very excited. I just also kind of still shocked about it. Like, how did that happen?
Wow, it's been
when did that
5
happen?
years.
That's crazy.
I know that we've talked about where we feel the happiest, the most seen, the most ourselves. A lot of that takes place at a drag show. Mm-hmm. Where do you draw that sense of inspiration, of happiness? Where, as a performer that's providing that to others, where do you look to kind of foster that for yourself?
So it is also at the drag show.
Okay.
It's being on the stage in that moment, and I draw that inspiration from both the faces looking back at me from the audience. Like, that's why I continue to do what I do, is the unbridled joy that it gives me to be able to spread that kind of happiness on such a large scale, and like know that whatever it is that I'm doing in that moment, I get to see in the audience's eyes that spark and that enjoyment and happiness. In that moment, we're all kind of connected and like together. And that to me is like magical.
Yeah.
So it's that. It's also in the other drag performers in the show being in the audience watching that performance as well, because before I was a drag performer, I was a drag fan. I love it, you know, and that's why I do what I do today, is because I just have always loved drag. I think it's so cool. Like, it's just exciting.
Awesome. In true performer fashion, I feel like that was like the perfect answer.
It's like, I feel like it's a true pageant queen answer.
Yeah.
Like, that was so eloquent. I love it. Yeah, like, crown her. So we're talking about now like people experiencing drag, people going out to watch these shows. We know that the current administration and the current political climate has changed a lot of things when it comes to free speech, and that's negatively impacting our trans community and drag queens. How has that looked like for you? Has it changed anything? What does that look like in your day-to-day?
It has maybe changed some internal dialogue a little bit, but it hasn't really changed the way that I show up. If anything, I show up louder and more, because I think it's more important that people in my community know that we won't be silenced, and that I am going to lead by example and not going to allow the fear-mongering behind what this administration is trying to do. I'm not going to let that control me, and we can't. And we have historically always fought back, and we will continue to do that. And I think it's incredibly important for people like me with a platform, with a microphone on that stage, to let my audience know that I'm not giving up and I'm never going to.
I think another kind of flashpoint within this last legislative session, right, was seeing some drag queens actually go to the state capitol and testify. How impactful is it for drag queens and really LGBTQ plus people in general to occupy those spaces and kind of have that direct exchange and contact with our policymakers that are making these decisions that affect all of us?
I think that's amazing. I think that is incredibly important. And I actually know some of the performers that were there, and I just give them all the kudos in the world, because that's scary. Like, I mean, it takes a lot to get in drag and to get on stage, any stage, but to go to your legislation, like to your city hall, to go down there with these people that, you know, are probably not expecting to see a drag performer, that are potentially, you know, coming in with preconceived notions of dislike or hatred of drag performers, and to show up and to use your voice, I think is incredible. And I think that as much of that as we can do, we should.
Any words of encouragement for queer Arizonans that might be feeling defeated, isolated, and or hopeless?
Oh, words of encouragement. Well, I mean, all of the words of encouragement. Don't give up. I feel like it's especially hard for young people, because so much of our drag scene exists in the bars over 21. I work with an organization called 1 in 10, which is our biggest or only, you know, LGBTQ IA Two-Spirit plus organization for young people in Arizona. And I encourage anyone out there that feels isolated or alone to make those connections. If you can, reach out to, if you're under 24, I think that's where they cap it at 1 in 10. Reach out and find out what's out there for you, because they've got different satellites around. I've done a drag mentorship workshop in Maricopa. I did a bingo with the Tempe satellite of 1 in 10 not too long ago. You're not alone. There are more people out there, and I know that it's easy to feel isolated and that it's super scary, but it's important. A lesson that I have to remind myself, literally like wrote this in my journal this morning, is like, ask for help.
Yeah.
It's like just really important to know that it's okay to ask for help. We can't do it all by ourselves, you know, especially when we're in a difficult headspace. It's just, you just kind of bite the bullet and reach out, because at the very least, you will have made some connection with another person, and a reminder that there's other people out there like you.
Yeah.
In a couple words, this might be difficult, but in a couple words, if you had to kind of sum up drag performance or drag in Arizona and the role that it plays, what would those words be?
Oh my God. In a couple words?
Let's say 5 words.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's say diverse is the first word that comes to mind. Excellence is the second word. Community, powerful, and strength. Those are the first 5 words that came to mind. I don't know if they, I think that they're all very important words. I don't know how they all necessarily tie together, but that was what I came up with.
I appreciate it.
Yes.
I guess looking to the future, what is it that you're wanting to accomplish? You've accomplished a lot already. And I think a lot of people look to you and see you as this inspiration. What's next for Ben, for Benaddiction? What is it that you're really wanting to go after now?
So for me, as someone in recovery, it's important for me to continue to push myself to fulfill my potential. I don't always know what that looks like, because I don't really know what my greatest potential is, but it's important for me to wake up every day and to keep challenging myself. So right now, that means getting ready for Miss Gay Arizona America and winning that pageant. That's my next big goal I have right in front of me. Ultimately, I want to continue to build my brand. I want to continue to inspire people and to be a visible representation of community and strength. And like we were just saying, I want people to be able to see me in small towns across Arizona and know they're not alone. And to know that if they want to, can do what I'm doing, that they can, that it's okay to express themselves, to be themselves, and that they should love themselves how they are.
I love it.
We know that RuPaul's Drag Race has brought drag into the zeitgeist, but outside of RuPaul's Drag Race, local drag is really big. You're part of local drag here in Phoenix. Why is it important to support local drag?
It is important to support local drag because that's what all drag was at the beginning. There was no RuPaul's Drag Race when this started. It all started as local drag. So, I can understand loving a TV show. I love that TV show too. But
I'm like, when are we going to see you on it? Exclusive. No, I'm just
right. I will never tell.
NDA.
But it's important because that's where the community really exists. Yeah. It exists in these shows at bars and coffee shops and wherever it is that we will pop up, which is literally anywhere you'll let us.
Yeah.
And that's where I think that the real connection happens. And that's the difference, is that you can love a TV show and watch it, but you're not really connecting with those people at all. You are in your home and they're in the sphere out there and on the internet or in your television. But at the show, you are getting one-on-one. You're getting community. You're getting a real personal connection.
Yeah.
And that's where you can kind of understand. That's where the activism starts. That's where, the riot started. That's where the culture is really created.
Yeah. And I know I asked you the question, but something controversial but brave. I feel like on Drag Race as well, we only see, it's a show, right? So they have storylines, they have character arcs, they have specific drag they're looking for. And I feel like as someone who loves drag, I've found that going to a drag show, you see more types of drag. And I think that's really important because when you don't see every type of drag, you have gay men sitting behind a screen typing I would have done that better, but
right.
Would you, I think what you said was spot on. I'm you build community and you get to see it in person and it's totally different than seeing it on a screen.
100%.
And you get a wider range of drag.
Yes, exactly. And yeah, like you said, there's only a limited amount that is portrayed, and drag is so diverse. And the fact that they only not too recently, but began letting trans performers on Drag Race. There's a massive number of trans drag performers out there that are absolutely incredible. So I mean, there's a lot of non-binary performers. There's a lot of drag creatures, which you can see on shows like The Belay Brothers Dragula, and that kind of thing. But it's just so expansive.
Yeah.
There is just such incredible diversity in the drag scene. I mean, drag mime, like we've got a drag mime here. We've got like a lot of drag clowns. Like there's just a ton of different things. So go support your local scene, you know, support your scene.
And tip your drag queens. Yes. Before we let you go, we wanted to play a quick game of Finish That Sentence.
Love a game.
Yes. I'm going to read the beginning of a sentence and then you'll have to finish it. So, you know you're a drag queen when?
You know you're a drag queen when your scalp has scabs from bobby pins.
Oh my God.
The weirdest thing about performing is?
Sometimes I think, why are they looking at me? Stop looking at me. And then I realize that I'm on the stage and that I asked for this.
You're like, I asked for attention and now I'm getting it.
Quit looking at me.
The 3 things I absolutely need to carry in my drag bag are?
A quintessential part of Benaddiction is the body. So pads. Like, I gotta have my pads, my tights. So that's 1, 2. And she needs a wig. Like, I'm just, that's it. Like, that's pretty much what you're like getting at a Benaddiction show is you're getting hair flips and you're getting body. So
I saw you last weekend and you came out and I was like, oh my gosh, like yes, it was. If you're not watching this through video, snatched. When performing, my biggest pet peeve is?
Oh, get the fuck off the stage. It's my time.
Yes. Do you have a lot of people like come on stage?
I've had.
And who's the biggest culprit?
I mean, it's the drunk white woman. You know it is, and it's
always
okay
a
because,
bachelorette party.
Yes. I don't mind educating people. Like I like to be the person to do it because I don't necessarily trust other people to do it in a way that's going to get the message across. But that's my own problem because I've got control issues. For me, there's some things that you should that are kind of common sense things. Like there's a performer on a stage in front of me. Would you go up on the stage at like Hamilton? Like, why would you think just like don't get on the stage when there's a performer
I'm
performing.
like, I'm a theater kid, so maybe.
I want to. I might want to. But
I have to say though, I've gotten brought onto the stage.
That's a different thing.
Yeah.
And that is
when there's participation,
Yeah, but like as like I'm not an extrovert, so like
but you're not into it. You're scared.
No, like I'm up there and I'm just like, oh
yeah, like, you showed up being cute at the show and now they're gonna get you.
Yeah. I'm like, not me. So they're like volunteers, I'm like, me, pick me.
I'm ready. Put me in, coach.
Yeah. So your biggest pet peeve is like people not.
That's the first thing that comes to mind. The second thing is the dancing dollar bill. Like,
I hate that. Like, if you're gonna just give the tip.
Like, first of all, that's $1.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not stressed about you not giving me that $1. Yes, I appreciate it very much, but it's not worth dancing with you for it. And then for you to ultimately just still take it away. Like, no, don't do that.
Yeah. My 3 go-to songs to perform are?
Out Tonight from Rent. Barracuda. There's like this metal cover of Heart's Barracuda. And then Tears by Clean Bandit featuring Louisa Johnson. Those are my 3. They're all dancey, sexy, high energy, hair flippy numbers that I can do a cartwheel in.
Which I'm really good at.
Thank you.
If I weren't doing drag, I'd probably be...
What?
I
don't understand the question.
Oh, next. Yes. Love that.
I would have to be performing in another aspect. Yeah. I would be doing theater, probably musical theater or some kind of, dance class. I would love to be able to do theater, but the schedules with drag they never work together. I would have to take months off of drag in order to do a production so I would say if I wasn't doing drag, it would be theater, but we're performing in any other way.
This one isn't written down on here, but I'm going off a whim.
Okay.
My 3 favorite RuPaul's Drag Race contestants are?
3 favorite. Ooh. Okay. So my good sis, Joey J.
Well, yes.
Love her. Yes, love Joey
J.
J.
I think she's gay.
No.
No? Okay.
You must have misheard. If I know one thing about Joey, not gay. Yes, and I'm super excited for her to be on All Stars. I love Sasha Velour and I love Alaska Thunderfuck.
My dream gig would be?
Traveling is one of my favorite things to do in the entire world. So if I can perform and travel, like if I can like do a world tour with a like large scale production, like that would make me the happiest person in the world, which I will do before I die. This will happen.
Any particular like location though?
I love Latin America. I love Central America. Mexico, Central America, South America. If I could do like a little Latin American tour and just like do big ass stages with stadiums and like just super high production level, massive sets, lights, everything, backup dancers, bitch, let's go.
I love that.
I would go.
I would go too. Yeah.
Like I'm ready to buy my plane ticket.
I like imagine you like performing in Mexico, El Zócalo, you know?
Yes, literally.
I love it.
All right.
Well, now we gotta make it happen.
Well, yes.
Now I can see it. Now I'm
funding
envisioning it, and now we gotta make it a thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Speak it out into existence. So, Benaddiction, thank you, and Ben, thank you for being here with us.
Thank you for having me.
Talk to us about all things drag.
Of course.
Where can people find you if you want to like plug anything?
I have so many things going on. They could find me at Cobalt Bar, which is actually like across the street from where we're at right now.
Yes.
On Wednesdays is the Queer Arcana, Saturdays is Follies, and I kind of alternate weeks there. I'd say find me on Instagram because that's gonna be where you're gonna find all of the up-to-date bookings and flyers. I try to put out like a monthly list, which I did just do June.
Yes.
So on Instagram, Benaddiction, addiction spelled like you're addicted to me.
Well, yes.
BENADD, the other thing I have, ICTIONN, Benaddiction. And yeah, just follow me on social media and I will tell you where to find me.
Thank you so much for joining us for this reading session. And whether you're tuning in through video or through audio, thank you so much for joining us. Until next time, remember, you have rights. Make sure you know them.